artbeads.com, Designing with Deb. I hope all of you are doing great this morning. It is January 27th, the last Monday of January 2025. I can't believe it's already the end of the month. I say that every show. I know, but it's crazy. Time goes by so very fast. Hi, Eric. Happy Monday. So I hope everybody had a great weekend. I got so much done this weekend. I was like super productive woman, and I'm so happy about that. So I'm feeling good today. I hope everybody else had a wonderful weekend and is already off to a great start on this Monday. I see a few folks are joining. Good morning, everybody. I see a few hearts. And gosh, you guys, I'm so excited about today's show. I have been thinking about this for a while, and I saw the perfect opportunity for this show. So I capitalized on it today. So we're going to be flipping down in just a minute. Good morning, everybody. Say hello if you're here. Let me know if you had a productive weekend, a restful weekend, curl up on the couch weekend. Tell me what you did. I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Hi, Carol Foreman. Good morning. Stephanie J, good morning, or Steph J, good morning. Hi, Joan in Phoenix, good morning. I'm so excited to see you guys here. So let's talk about the logistics of the show. To start with, if you're watching at artbeads.com/live, that's the most interactive way for you to watch while the show is live. So we always appreciate all of the views on Facebook and YouTube. But if you come on over to artbeads.com/live, I can see your comments. You can say hello, be part of the conversation. Eric is here, so you can have a chit chat with Eric and I during the course of the show. You can ask questions. You can share the love by clicking on that heart icon. And most importantly, you can click on that shopping bag and pick up lots of fun things that you can get home and start making with. I think that's fantastic. I think, a little shopping and a little chit-chatting is always a great thing. Hello, Mary. You celebrated the Chinese New Year's with your son and his wife. That's amazing. I think it's the year of the snake, which is really, really cool. I love snake jewelry. Who else is here? Janice is here. Good morning. Hi, Lynn. Santa Barbara girl. Oh my gosh. So glad to see you. She had a curl up Netflix weekend. I like those too. Hi, Nancy in Virginia. And Laquita, good morning. So you guys, if you are watching on YouTube, go to the description of the show, click on the link and come on over. If you're watching live, because we can have a little bit of fun and interact here. If you're watching on Facebook, you can enter the code that's at the top of the screen in the comments. It'll pop you over here. And you can do a little shopping, a little chit chat, a little making. And guys, I've got a fun shopping cart for you. So if you click on the shopping bag, I should say shopping bag. If you click on that shopping bag, you can see everything that's in the show today. But you can always wait to see the pop-ups. I see there's a little something on the screen today, and I'll tell you about that in just a minute. So yeah, come on over and join me here. And click on that shopping bag to see everything. And you can start loading up your cart now if you want. I don't go away. I just keep talking and I get a little bit smaller on the screen. And yeah, on the screen is a little something we like to call the deal of the week. We've been doing that for some time now, and it's really fun, and it's usually an amazing deal. So today's deal, I don't have it to show you, unfortunately, but it is a strand of gemstones from Dakota Stones, our friends there, a 4mm blue apatite diamond cut bicone bead, a whole strand of them. And this was priced at $23.39. That's the regular price. You're going to get that for the deal of the week at $9.99. Yeah, so that is a great gemstone, and I kind of like the look of this strand. Apatite can kind of span lots of color of blue, like a lot of the blue scheme. But this one kind of has a bit of a turquoise vibe to it, which I love. So 4mm bicone beads, super, super versatile for all kinds of projects. So check out the deal of the week. Drop that into your cart. It's in the shopping bag. You can just drop it on over into your cart and add that to all of the fun that you're going to get home to yourself. So let me check on a few more comments here. Let's see. Ellen, good morning. Hi. Rose, Buena Park, rainy day there. Bridget said she took a basket weaving class and fell in love with it. Oh my gosh, that sounds so fun. Julie says, why is it so cold? Julie, I've got some dark clouds out my window. We're just hoping for some rain here. Susie in South Florida, good morning. South Florida, finally sunny again. We had delicious Korean and Vietnamese food from church celebrating in the new year. Yes, awesome. Carol thinks that sounds fun. And Sharon says, good morning from cloudy Arizona. Hopefully Sharon will get some rain. Okay, you guys, one more thing. The sale that's going on today through the end of today is 30% off, or up to 30% off of seed beads. So I've got some seed beads in the show today. So I thought that maybe this might be an appropriate project for today. So don't miss out on some of the deals, and some of the things that are on sale are actually in limited edition and limited stock. I'm going to flip my camera down, and here's what we are going to talk about today. So I have memory wire here. I've got some bracelet memory wire. This is Basic Elements. It's by Beadsmith. And this is a silver plated memory wire, and it's absolutely a lovely silver memory wire. I've also got the Basic Elements ring memory wire. We're going to do a ring. We're going to do an earring. I'm going to show you how to work with these kinds of memory wire with the latest and greatest TOHO seed bead mixes. And I thought what I would do is give you a little teaser to start with. This is a little something I was playing around with and came up with. I'm calling this the Ultimate Party Statement Ring. What do you guys think of this? Good morning, Lori. This is a beautiful seed bead mix. So this is one of the recent additions to artbeads.com. We have a ton of new TOHO seed bead mixes that were blended right in the Art Beads warehouse. They are gorgeous. There are so many beautiful ones. And I took some beads from one of the new Czech fire polish bead bundles. I've actually got the rest of them here. And I added those to this fun and funky ring. So I thought we could play around. I'll show you another version of this. Julie Peterson, thank you. So this is, we can do another version of this. This is super fun. This one is extra wild and crazy, but I thought I could show you how to make a ring with memory wire and give you a little bit of an idea of what else you can do other than just wrap it around your finger. So I've got those beautiful fire polish bundles in the show today, and you can also get this strand by itself. I'll show you the color of this one. This is in the ring. This is a polychrome pink olive fire polish bead. And this is such an awesome, awesome bead. I love this color with all of my heart. And with this particular bead mix, this seed bead mix, it is divine. You could actually take any of these pink, these pink tones and combine it with this seed bead mix. So I'm crazy about these bundles. Sarah Lovecraft introduced these a few weeks back, and Andrea Bieber introduced these a few weeks back, and I just went crazy. So I ordered a few myself. Let me show you a few others that you might think about. Really quick before we start, let me move those out of the way. This is a cool one. This has some actually larger beads in it, which I love, but this is a really cool, like deserty blend, which I live in the desert, so I love that sort of desert vibe that's coming from these. These are super fun, so versatile. You can just string those onto some beading wire and have some fun with that. This one gives me desert cactus vibes, but it's also a great bead mix for this time of year because right after Valentine's Day, we're going to start thinking about St. Patty's Day. And this blend has some really cool textures and finishes and is so lovely and beautiful. So I'm super excited about this one. I really started playing with this one first because I just love those shades of green. And then let me show you one more before we start. This is just the coolest. So I haven't opened this one yet. It's a little tough to get open. Those beads are not coming out unless you want them to. Oh my gosh, look at this one. This is such a lovely, happy little blend of seed beads. There's some larger ones and smaller ones and such lovely colors. I'm seeing this for all kinds of projects. So if you watched Andrea Bieber's show last week, she did a very cool frame wrapped pair of earrings, and she wrapped these into the frame and they became almost like a mosaic, like a stained glass kind of look. So there's so many things that you can do with these. You can always go back and watch the previous shows at artbeads.com/live, and you can see what everybody else has done with these mixes and with other things. So let's talk about making some things with memory wire. I'm going to start with this ring memory wire. So wouldn't this be a cool ring? Just put that right on your finger. So this Basic Elements ring memory wire is really nice quality, and you get a ton of it. So if you think about it, you probably won't use a lot of this. So you've got a ton of potential here. I wish this was like a slinky. We could make it like a slinky. Remember those? So this is what we're going to be using for our ring. So I did one of these as a sample. And I'm going to show you a second one, but this is what we're going to work with. We're also going to work with the other memory wire that I showed that's bracelet. Let me get a sip of coffee. My allergies are really getting me today. So we're going to work with this too, but you may not have tried making anything with a ring memory wire. So here's the tools I'm going to use. I need a pinky swear promise from all of you that if you're going to work with memory wire, that you only use memory wire cutters. You will wreck your good cutters. So if you've got some beautiful Xuron cutters or some pro Beadalon cutters, you will wreck them with memory wire. So please grab yourself a pair of these. Today's the day. If you haven't yet, grab some of these because they are going to work beautifully with your memory wire and you won't have to wreck your good cutters. I also love this tool for working with memory wire. This is a pair of Beadalon. They market this as memory wire finishing pliers. And I use this set of pliers for a lot of things, but I especially love it with memory wire. So there's a nice small barrel, which you don't often get in sort of the general bail making pliers that you get. And this is a nice small tool. So it actually fits in my hand and I can really get good leverage on memory wire. So I'm going to be using these two tools to work with my memory wire today. And we're going to make a ring. So let me show you the other ring that I made. I thought that I would give you the basics on working with memory wire by showing you this guy. This is a fun one. So this is the same amount of ring memory wire, and also little dangles are included in the memory wire piece. They are on head pins and they are wire wrapped directly onto the loops of the memory wire. And this is another one of those mixes. So these are Bead Llama limited edition TOHO seed bead mixes. Keep in mind, TOHO is a Japanese seed bead. It is high quality glass and it is gorgeous. So that's this one. And this one might be a little bit more your style versus this wild and crazy one that is like a super statement ring. So you pick your poison, but we're going to play around. I'll show you how I make a memory wire ring. Okay. Let's see. Bridget, thank you so much. So here's how I pull off a piece of memory wire. So here's my end right here. And then I come around and I want to get like about 2 rounds or 2.5 rounds of the memory wire. So if I've got my end here, I come around and I pull off those 2 rounds and I cut with these only and snip off that piece of memory wire. Okay. And that memory wire is very, very stiff. So memory wire is intentionally meant to be stiff so that it holds its shape. Now I'm going to cut one more piece because I want it to be slightly longer. So here I'm pulling this out. I'm going to go down here. So here's my end and I'm actually going to come up here. I want a couple of additional rounds. I want at least one more round. So I'm going to snip that guy off. And now I've got a nice number of rounds like that. Okay. Now I believe this memory wire is in limited stock. So if you're interested in trying this out, get it into your cart and make sure you check out before the end of the show so you don't miss out on the ring memory wire. Okay. So then the next thing I do is I give this a tug. So memory wire will hold its shape, but you can do some bending of it and stretching of it to some degree. So I want this to be a more spread out piece of wire because otherwise you're going to have trouble getting things on to the wire. What I do next is I find one end and I come in with my bail making pliers, my memory wire finishing pliers, and I'm going to grab one of the ends. So I'm going to grab that end and then I'm going to put that end, and this is small wire to work with, a small piece of wire to work with. So it's a little challenging, but I'm going to put that right into my pliers and I'm just going to create one little coil down. And because I'm a lefty, I got to be able to see it this way. So I'm going to just coil it down and have it meet the wire on the other side like that. Okay. This is going to do a couple things for us. It's going to help us. Oh, Meredith, thank you so much. This is going to keep the beads from coming off And it's going to help us if we want to make that fun little connection with beads, with larger beads. So I'm going to pull these out again, and I'm going to put these into a tray because I used up all of my cute little bowls. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to work with the green. Let's work with the green. And it's in a cute bowl. So let's work with the green. So I'm going to start stringing on these beads. And I'm going to not care about the way I put them on. But I want to get a good hold on the ring so that I can get a good place to drop the beads on. So one thing to keep in mind is there are some bugle beads in some of these mixes. And I need you to be aware that if you have a longer bugle than the ones that are in this mix, that you will have trouble putting it onto memory wire. So I just need you to know that. You can set those beads aside for another project, and you can have some fun with them with something else. Y'all know I love bugle beads. I've used them in several projects here at Art Beads. So look, that's what we're going for so far, is this kind of fun mix. We're going to leverage all of the beads in this mix, and we're going to put them on, and I'm just trying to get my my beads on without them slipping off of the end as I work with it. I find the ring memory wire is a little bit challenging, but it is a big payoff, and it's one way that you can make a ring. So if you are not a metalsmith, which I am not, rings are, something that you have to really have some specific techniques to make. And you have to use certain materials to be able to do it, because you've got to be able to get beads or some material onto them and have them go around your finger. So memory wire, this ring memory wire, is excellent for making a ring, having an opportunity to make a ring. So I enjoy having an opportunity to make rings in a way that doesn't require lots of tools, doesn't require a lot of extra cash to go out and take classes on how to metalsmith, which I'd love to do someday. I'm sure a lot of folks aspire to that, and I'm always so crazy in love with those that do that work. It's so much fun. So I'm pushing the beads down, and we're starting to get a little bit of a look here. And you can be very precise here with your design. You can put the beads on in a pattern. You can do some color blocking. There's, I think, 4 or 5 different kinds of beads in this particular mix. And if you pick up any of the others, you'll have lots of other opportunities to blend them into this one, perhaps. And some of them have more beads in them, more kinds of beads in them. So this is just a way that you can make a fun sort of haphazard design or a really prescribed bead blocked or color blocked design for your ring. So I know this is a little bit like watching paint dry, getting them on, and I'm flicking some of them off as I go. But this is what we're dealing with here, is tiny rounds of wire. And look at these green beads. So, so pretty. So something to think about with memory wire rings is you cannot use large beads with memory wire rings. You'll see why when you're actually working with it, and you just can't really do big beads all the way around. You got to have small beads, which is why when I saw these new TOHO Bead Llama mixes, seed bead mixes, I thought these are perfect to do a memory wire ring. And as I'm pulling this ring and putting the beads on, I'm actually getting that wire to kind of come out and stay in its shape a little bit, which actually makes it a little easier for me to put the beads on. So I'm going to get these on, I promise you, without too much more struggle. That one doesn't want to go on. And the ring memory wire does take all of these little beads, these little seed beads, very easily. So that is, that's a plus. So if you pick up one of the packages of the memory wire, the ring memory wire, and you pick up, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 of these TOHO mixes, you've got tons of ring opportunities. This would be a fun project to invite the girls over, sit around, make some rings, drink some tea or whatever you want to drink, and listen to some tunes, and just, maybe it's a good winter, if you're kind of in for a winter night, it's a good project for that. So you could grab some memory wire and snip some off for everybody, and everybody can share the same tools, because you don't really need the tools for very long when you're working with them. And you can just make some rings. Get a bunch of the, yes, Eric, Beady Bash Box Party. Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Just a crazy fun party, and everybody has something when they walk away. Like, they've got something to carry home with them, something to remember the experience by, because that's really what it's all about, the experience. So I'm just haphazardly putting these on. We're getting closer, I promise you. Look at that pretty green. Oh my gosh. And I love these cube-sized or cubish beads that are in here. Cubish is a word I just made up, I think. They are super fun. They've got more of a matte finish to them. And then there's these tiny little, just tiny little beads that are like a green lined glass. There's these little bugles, super cool bead mix. All right, we've got just a little bit more to go, guys. If you like this blend, there are so many others that have a kind of a smaller bead. I showed you that darker green if you want to go for a little bit of a bigger bead. We looked at that other green blend in the beginning. It's in the shopping bag. So if you want to pick up a couple of different greens that have completely different vibes, which will give you a completely different look at the end, there are a couple different greens you can choose from. And then, of course, there's so many other beautiful colors to work with. Now, I decided to do that fun little connector thing, which I think we're going to try and do here. And that got me shopping for those fire polish bundles. So those fire polish bundles are absolutely so amazingly curated, and they're in, similar colorways, and there's so many different ones. I'm sure there's probably a green one. I don't specifically remember the green, but I'm sure there is a version that is green. Thank you for the hearts. I'm seeing some hearts there. Wine, beads, and women, what could go wrong? Yeah, well, I'm thinking people could go home with not just a ring, but a hangover, potentially, if they bring wine into the equation, Santa Barbara girl. But I think that's kind of a fun thing. I don't know. I don't often drink while I make jewelry. That's kind of a scary thing, because beads tend to be more on the floor than they would normally. But, you know, you choose your own adventure with making jewelry and having a little jewelry party. You will need a vacuum afterwards to pick everything up. So, okay, we're almost to the end. Almost to the end. So showing you that, you know, it takes a little bit of patience, and you're going to have some beads fall on your table while you make these, but they are so pretty. I just absolutely love the look of this kind of combination of textures and colors of green. We've got St. Patty's Day coming up. So there we go. This is so pretty. Such a pretty collection of beads. And we've got our ring stretched out so that it's going to have that sort of wrapped effect. So now that I've got my beads onto my wire, I'm going to create another loop. And I'm going to cut off just a touch of wire, just a touch. And I'm going to put it down so that it does not pop up and go in my eyeball. So now I've got just a little bit left to do a loop at the other end. So I'm going to do the same thing I did to start with. And this is tricky with a little small piece of memory wire. But I'm going to get that into my plier. And we're just going to bring that down and create a loop, have it match up to our wire. And now we have a ring. Janice says, can anyone make jewelry without making a mess, or are you like me with everything everywhere? Yes. This is me on my best behavior jewelry making. But normally things are just flying all over the place in this studio. All right, so we've got our ring. Now you could leave your ring just like this or this way. So see how those beads are just kind of all different shades and different sizes and shapes. Really, really fun. Or you can add a little pizzazz to it. So I'm going to actually twist this a little bit more and then pull it back out. You can get it to kind of stay this way versus all coiled up tight like this. Now we've got beads on it, so it is helping it to shape a little bit differently. So I've got a good shape, and I've got two little loops at the end. So this is what I did to create a little extra something on this ring. So we're going to go a little bit more low key than this version. So I've got some 22 gauge wire here. It's just some artistic wire, and I'm cutting off a few inches. That looks to be maybe about, 5 inches or so. And what I want to do to start with is grab my round nose pliers. So where are those guys? I don't see my round nose pliers. Did I put them? What did I do with them? Well, I'm going to grab my auxiliary pair of round nose pliers. And I'm going to create a little loop. And I don't want that loop to be too big. So I'm just going to create a loop and do a wrap. So just a wire wrap loop, just your run-of-the-mill wire wrap loop. Get a few little wraps around the wire like so. And then I'm going to come in with some cutters, my good cutters. And I've got... This is not memory wire. So the second piece of wire that we're going to use that goes through here is just a regular piece of wire. The round circular part of the ring is memory wire. This is just a 24 gauge artistic wire, craft wire that you can create the second part of your design with. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab some beads from this blend. So I'm going to add a little bit of a metallic vibe here. There are some matte cubes in this one. So I'm going to pull out these cubes. I don't know exactly how many I need just yet, because this is me just trying this out. But I'm going to pull a bunch of them out of my little dish, and I'm going to show you how we can create a little embellishment for our ring. So I'm stringing on the cubes, and here's what they look like. They are super cool. They're kind of a bronzy color. I think they look great with green. So you got a little bit of a, I don't know, kind of a Southwest vibe. I don't know. I'm feeling the Southwest because I don't know. I always do. I'm here. So there's our little wrap of beads. And I think that's going to work with my plan here. Maybe a couple more. So let me grab a couple more beads and see. I'm just thinking about, this is going to be like a bar that connects my two wraps. So I'm pretty sure that's the number of beads that I need. So I'm going to pull this one up a little bit, and then I'm going to take my beads off again. So sorry guys, but I'm going to take the beads off and I'm going to leave one. And I'm going to go through this first loop on the ring. So I want one bead to be on the outside of the ring loop, because that's going to hold it and secure it. And this is where we have opportunity to hang dangles. So then I'm going to put a few more beads on. We're going to put a few of these cubes on, and I love these cubes. And I think what I want to do here is I want this to go under the, the ring a little bit. So here's how I'm thinking this will go. So I kind of want them to sit in between I want the ring to kind of sit in between the beads like that. How does that look? That's kind of fun. And then I'm going to string on another bead and see how that looks. So get those beads in there like so. I like the look of that, like that. And then I'm going to grab another bead. And then what I want to do is, and I'm going to mangle my wire for a moment. I'm going to push that wire through this other loop on the ring. And I think I may have a little bit of trouble getting that exactly how I want it, but I'm going to go with it because I'm going to tighten that up when I wrap it. So I want one more bead on the outside of my ring, like that. So we've got a little bit of this embellishment going under the beads, and it's not going to go perfectly in the ring isn't going to go perfectly in between, but it will look cool regardless. So you know what though? I have a different idea. I think we'll get a better result if we do it this way. So I went under, and I'm going to go, because we've got memory wire here, I'm going to go under and then over like that. So we're going to give ourselves like a little under over action, and then we're going to put it through that last loop. And it's okay to mangle this wire a little bit because we're going to get it straightened out. So we've got beads here. I want to pull this around. I want to push that forward like so. And then I'm going to put that last bead on like that. And I'm going to manhandle this so that it's going to all go together. Okay, so I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I'm going to push down. I'm going to push that guy down like so. Try to get a good hold on it. This part is hard. I want to push that down just a little bit harder. And I'm going to straighten out that little piece of wire there. Want to get that tightened up. And then I'm just going to create another loop at this end. Okay, and I'm going to straighten this out. It'll look a little better in just a minute. And then I'm going to kind of straighten out my wire, and we're going to actually make that a little zigzaggedy. Kind of a fan of the zigzag these days. I'm going to push that this way and then that way. And don't have it quite as tight as I would like. See, I've got a little bit of a gap of wire there, but you could add some seed beads there to make that a little bit more filled in, because you really can't add another of your cube beads. But this is kind of how it's going to look. It's going to go on the finger and it's going to cross over your, it's going to cross through your ring. So you've kind of got a fun and funky little snake piece. Carol, I could crack off the beads and wire wrap. Definitely could do that as an option. And I've got that little swirl in the center. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a couple of dangles. So I've got some head pins. I've got some ball end head pins in the show. If you like working with ball end head pins, I always think they have a nice little extra something. And they add just a little bit of extra metallic. And I'm just going to do one bead. So unlike these, where I created these crazy dangles, I'm just going to do one bead. So it's a little less crazy than that, a little less dramatic. And because we've got our zigzaggedy section of beads in the center, we might not want too much more of those, of the pizzazz. So we've got one dangle going, and then you can mix it up and grab your green again. You can get those little cubes from your green mix, your green seed bead mix. So from the base beads that you've got going. And you're just going to wire wrap right on to your loop at the end of your zigzag. And you can actually cut those ends if you want and sand them down. So if you don't like the loop at the end and don't want to add dangles, you can cut the loop off and sand and have just a little spiral at the end. That's an option for you. So I'm doing like 2 brown and 1 green, 2 bronze and 1 green at the end. You can always attach these with a jump ring if you're more comfortable with that. If you don't like the wire wrapping, in such a small space. And when you've got other dangles, they want to hang out together, so they want to get all tangled up and crazy. So just doing a few little wraps around them. They can be messy, they can be perfect, however you like. So here we've got one end, we've got 3 little dangles. This has a little bit of a snake effect, I think. So that's fun, like so. And Kat says, okay, how do you get a straight cut with the memory wire pliers? So when we're cutting up here, if you're asking about cutting off the loop here, you can cut this off with your regular cutters because this wire is the regular wire. The wire that we're talking about here is the regular wire that we've put through. So you can get a straight cut in that case. So then let me just do a few more dangles on the other side. Just cute little beady dangles like that. And we're going to wrap them right. This end is, this is just our piece of artistic wire. So if you wanted to cut that, you could cut that off and sand it down. I would not leave that wire exposed because it will be very sharp at that end if you don't. So you'll wanna kind of sand that down and get it in better shape. Grabbing a couple more head pins here. So I'm gonna grab one of the green and wrap this one. Open that up. Put that next to that guy. So drop that right in. And I use my my fine, Xuron pliers, my Xuron Chanos, because these I can actually hold on to these little loops here, and I can get a hold of it and do my wraps. This is such a small piece that if you if you have small pieces and parts, a tool like this will help you get into those tight spaces. And so that's another, if you're going to do these and you're going to add wraps and things, you might need a pair of those to add to the mix for this fun project. So I just come in, I grab that loop, if I can get a hold of it. This is a tiny space, and then I'm just going to wrap around that little bead, straighten that loop out, and wrap like that. And then snip off my excess wire, and you can tighten up all those pieces. This is not perfect, guys, but I do like that is a little bit swirly and weird and interesting. So, this is just showing you different ways that you can use this memory wire without just creating a simple wraparound, which you might want to. That might be your jam and perfect for what you want to do. But those are our rings that, that we can do with the ring memory wire. Now, we are getting close to the top of the hour, but I want to show you an earring. So memory wire earrings are fun to make, and they are a way that you can make a really nice, precise design, a little sharper design with wire. If you don't like making frames and you want to try a little something with memory wire, this is the memory wire earring that I like to make. And this is with another Bead Llama TOHO blend. And this one is one of my favorites. So I'm actually going to dump this out. This is the one that convinced me I needed to do this, these projects. Well, no, I think it was a green one actually. But look at this one. This one has some large bugles. So I mentioned earlier, large bugles, not on the memory wire, but you can save them for other projects. This is our earring. PJ says, morning, Deb. I'm also late. Forgot that you were on early. Yes, I'm the Monday morning gal. So here's a nice large hoop-ish earring in more of a diamond shape or an oval shape than a round piece of memory wire. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second. I also used some little check glass beads that are diamond shape. These are also a Bead Llama limited edition check glass mix. So this comes in all different colors, which is great for working with these seed bead mixes because you can pick out a corresponding color and you can create your design and add a little dangle at the bottom of your earring. So this is really cool. Eric's, I think you're asking, is it possible to cap the wire with anything? There are beads called finial beads that are half drilled that you can put at the end of memory wire if you're making a simple round memory wire bracelet. That's an option, and I know Art Beads has a lot of those available. So this is the objective when you're making this kind of an earring. So you want this shape. Now, if you've got memory wire, oh, Deb, where's your round memory wire? Now that's missing from the table too. Let me open this guy up. So if you have this shape, you want to make this shape. How do you do that? So this is what I do. So I've got my end of the memory wire, and to get a complete round, you can cut right along that edge and you can match up your memory wire, right? Well, I want to go a little bit less than that. So I want to come in over here, and I'm going to use only my memory wire cutters because we are now working with the memory wire again. And I want the loop to have a little bit of a space. So if I were to measure that out, we've got about an inch of an opening here. You can adjust this based on the size of earring. And if you want to try doing this first, you can do this as a tester, and you could go smaller if you'd like. Now I'm going to come in with my finishing pliers, and I'm going to take the larger bail of my bail making pliers, and I'm going to come in right down from the center of that loop, and I'm going to push that up like so. And that's going to give me that shape. So you can go from a round piece of memory wire, and this is going to hold its shape. Kat, Deb, your pliers cut straight, mine bend the wire. Yeah, so these take some practice in working with, but sometimes it is the plier. So maybe it's time for a new pair, Kat, to see if you can get your cuts a little bit better. So I don't know if we'll finish this today, but I'm just going to show you, I wanted to show you how you can make your bend in the wire. So you've got your little dangle at the bottom, and this is going to hold its shape. Thanks for the hearts, you guys. And then what you'll want to do is I grabbed the little small bugles first to go on either side of my dangle, because those will kind of stay in place. And if your loop can get over your beads, thank you for the hearts, you guys. Oh, Kat, I'm sorry. Get some memory wire and see if you can get a better, you can do some practice and see if maybe it's just the way that you're going about cutting. And I think there's some YouTube content out there that talks about getting a good cut with your memory wire cutters. So then I just did a pattern, guys, of, let's see, there's several colors in here. There's a bronze, a blue, and a yellow. So let me just quickly show you what that looks like. And I'm just stringing onto either side of my piece. Now, if you want to close one end of your memory wire, you most certainly can do that. You can most certainly do that first. So close up one end. I'm going to show you how to close this off, and you'll see how to finish an earring like this, a memory wire earring like this. So that's my little pattern. And then I just add on another bugle. Let me grab another one of those and put that on either. So this is I think this is a really bohemian vibe. Really, really a fun little earring, and these beads are so pretty. I mean, just so pretty. So I want to come in on the other side. I'm just going to do one little section here for you so you can see how this works. So I'm just holding on to this piece, making sure that nothing's coming off, and it'll be important to hold on to it really well when you get more beads on, because you don't want them to come off while you're working with it. So now this is what your little pattern will look like. And you've got your little dangle at the center. Now, if you wanted a brighter color, there are brighter colors involved in this little blend, but this bead actually has a little texture on it. It's hard to see on this clear version, but it's like a little crisscross. And so it's a diamond shape with a little like almost a diamond cut on it. So super cool. All right, so if you want to make this into an earring, how do we get this closed, right? So I'm going to cut a little bit more of my wire. So I'm going to come in, cut one piece, and then I'm going to cut a little bit off of this side, and I'm going to hold that so that it doesn't fly. And I've got just a short amount of wire on either end. And what I want to do is I want to create two loops, but they're not going to be going the exact same way. Santa Barbara, what about using a half drill bead and glue on to the end of your wires? For this design, might be tough for an earring, but at the end of a memory wire bracelet, yes. And the finial beads are made more for that kind of thing, but it's essentially the same thing. It's a half drill bead. So I'm going to come in with my finishing pliers, and on one side, I'm going to create my loop this way. So I want my loop to go right down. Let's see if I can do this with under the camera. So I want my first loop to go right back and go along with the flow of the wire. So you see the hole is facing this way, so we can see it, right? Now on this side, what I want to do is I want to take it backwards. And that's hard to describe, hard to show. I'm going to take that again, and I'm going to push it back. So it's kind of going away from the wire. So it's going this way. So you can see the loop here, and then this way you can see the loop this way. So what I want to do is connect these two. So I want to I didn't completely close that one up because I'm just going to come in and attach it right there. And then I'm going to take some chain nose, and these are a little bit heavier. They're not the super precision ones. And I'm just going to come in and close that up. And that, I closed it just a little bit too much there. So I'm going to pull that out just a little bit. Now, memory wire is going to remember its shape. So now I've got this little connection point up top, and here I took my beads all the way up the side. This one's a little bit smaller than this one. This one I made separately, and I actually cut my memory wire and shaped my 2 pieces of memory wire at the same time. So if you cut your memory wire, cut your first one, and then cut this one, and then shape them with your pliers by coming in, with your bail making, and make those 2 bends at the same time. So you're getting the same shape and the same sizing. And then make sure when you cut your ends that you're cutting about the same amount from them. So it's a little bit of finessing to get that done. But then all you need at the end here, let me get this guy out of the way, is an ear wire. So I've got just some little simple French hook ear wires. And I'm going to take my chain nose and open that up. And then I'm going to put that through that loop that's facing me. And then just close that ear wire up. Get that nice and tight there. And now I've got a super fun, this could be your earring right here. If you like having some silver accents as part of your piece, there you've got a fun earring. But you can do as many beads as you want. And if you guys choose, a bunch of the different bead mixes, the TOHO bead mixes, you've got lots of opportunity to make so many different pretty earrings. And we've got a nice precision shape on this earring. So much fun. Julie and Callie says, so great to see this class on my new iPad. Big difference. Yes, I'm sure. Probably the quality is better in video and size. So this is just fun stuff to do. Grab some of these blends, drop those into your cart, and get yourself some ring memory wire, get yourself some regular memory wire, and you've got tons of fun projects. And you can also grab some check beads, some fire polish beads. You've got hours and hours of fun to make some fun projects. And you can have that party with your friends, make a lot of earrings and rings. So let me flip myself up here and say goodbye to all of you. That was fun. I'm going to just keep playing because there are so many more things that you can do here. This was not the best. This was not the best ring. Not my favorite ring, but still fun. This one is wild and crazy. Still, I think my favorite of all of them. Really cool, crazy ring. Fun to make, fun to wear. Thank you guys so much for being here. Don't forget to close out those carts, because if you don't, you could lose those limited edition blends and memory wire and all of those fun things. So go in, check out, and thank you for being here. There's so many more fun projects coming your way this week from the Art Beads design team, and you can always go back and watch everything on the replay. So go and do an on-demand and binge watch some shows. See what else you can come up with, and I hope you all have a very creative week ahead of you. Don't forget to pick up that deal of the week. It is a screaming deal. Put that in your cart. That should go in your cart to get checked out today as well. And gosh, you guys, I appreciate you being here. I will be back next Monday. I've got something fun planned for you then. And I'll see you all later. Have a good creative week. Bye, everyone.